How's it going, guys? Gonna talk quick in the beginning so I don't waste my time talking. This is a video on how to flare a brake line with the old conventional style tool. This is to help the roopster out. Ruben has a set like this to use. He doesn't have a hydraulic one, so we're gonna do it the old school way. Here's a piece of brake line. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut the end off. Okay. I don't think you guys need to know how to do that. I'm just going to put the tool on there and roll it around, cut the end off. I'm not going to waste the time with that. You know what? I will show a little bit of it in case Ruben doesn't know how to do it. Okay, Ruben, there's your cutting wheel. So obviously when you make a line in the piece, you're going to line it up with that wheel. It's just barely touching now. I give it a hair bit of a turn. Okay. Kind of hard to grip it when there's no bends in the line. You just walk it around until it gets loose. You do it a hair bit more, go. If you turn this wheel too much, basically what you're going to do is you're going to fold the line down as you're cutting it. And that's going to make one of the later steps a little harder. So I'm going to do this. Obviously, the sharper your wheel, the quicker it's going to do it. But if you look in there with the dirt line, it is cutting. So now I'll put it on pause. Okay, the tip of it's cut off. First thing you're going to look for is, you're going to look through your little adapters. And on the bottom of the adapter it says 3/16. You have to, before you even start doing anything, you have to make sure that fits in the hole. Which it does. Now we have to set it up in the actual tool. I'm going to turn all this stuff sideways. So I can work with my hands, whoops, off the table here, since I don't have a tripod anymore. Okay, now you're going to look on your tool, 3/16, quarter, 5/16. So let's just go right to 3/16. One of them has a swing, the other one just leave loose. Okay, one side has a chamfer going down or a taper, one side doesn't. You want the chamfer up. Just stick it in there like that. Doesn't matter how far at this point. Okay. Swing that around. Do it till it just about touches. Same over here. Just to, I'm not putting any pressure on, just so the line don't keep flopping on the floor. Okay, then back this one off just a hair. So when you squeeze with your fingers like this, you could walk the line. Okay. Now, you have to look at this tool. There's a wide shoulder at the bottom. That's actually put there as a gauge. That's how high you have to set the line above the flaring tool. Now you have to also make sure that these pieces stay flat and not cocked up in one direction. The way I like to do it, okay, is I'll tighten this side. Whoops, I'll tighten this side first, then I'll tighten the other side. But that's personal preference. It doesn't have any effect on anything. So I'm walking it down, walking it down. I'm going to say right now that's good. Let's hold that line in there so I can get a better peek. Looks the same except for where it's flared up and has a burr. So with that, I'm going to tighten these things down. Very important you tighten these down. Now, if you want to gorilla it, you could use the bar it comes with and go like this. That's why they actually give you the slits. Okay, in case your hands start to hurt after doing like 60 of these in a row. Okay, now before you move on, make sure this is flush, which it is. Make sure you don't drop the stuff on the floor. Okay. Looks like a good height match to me. Okay. Now, forget about what the shape is inside and stuff like that. You're going to put that on there. Okay. Now that we put another set of batteries in here, just put it in with the nipple sticking down like that. Okay, now you're going to get your tool. Okay, we're going to slip it around like this and go like this. And obviously we have to loosen it. Okay. Now, don't just gorilla it down. Make sure the tool is sitting centered. Make sure it's sitting right. Okay. Then you got your bar. Has the little tabbies on there, so you slip it all the way through to one side. Grip it with your hands like this. At least that's the way I do it. And you turn this. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold it over here, so it's easier for me to do it. This is where, if you're doing stainless lines, you really want to get yourself a hydraulic one, because doing 1 or 2 lines like this is fine, but if you start to work on a real project, you'll start to hurt really quick. Okay, so basically what I did was, I'm pulling this all back off. It's now sitting flush on there. So basically what I did was I pressed it down in so many words. Now, to get it off, you got half of your flare. Okay, I like to put a little dot of oil on here, which I don't seem to have right here, now that I'm looking around, which could cause the flare to be deformed, which caused the flare to crack, cause the flare to smear. So, for demonstration purposes, I have grease here from working on the carburetors. That's what we're using. Okay. And actually, if you keep these threads lubed here, it makes it a lot easier on your hands too. So now we're back to putting this back on without the adapter. Thread it down. And when you thread it down, make sure this tool is sitting right, because if it's off to one side, that's the way your flare is going to wind up. It's hard doing this the way I'm sitting. You do it a certain way, and that's the only way you could do it. Not the only way you could do it, but that's what you get used to doing. And me hanging over the table around this camera is not the way. Okay, so it's sitting there like that. And I'm going to put the rod back in, which is so worn out that it falls right through those grooves now. And basically, I'm going to just turn it. And this is where you use common sense. You will feel it stop. Okay? Now, if you're a total gorilla, you could put it in a press and keep turning it. But basically, you're just destroying what you're doing. So, do it till it's tight, then just back it off. Once you just crack it free, and you can do it by hand. And that looks like a double flare to me, but let's compare it to the factory one. So I saved it. It rolled on the floor, but I saved it. Then just loosen it up like that. Thing's off. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get the other one. There's that end. The one we just flared, you can see the grip marks on it. There's the one they give you with no grip marks on it. It's the only difference. If you're screwing it into a fresh receiving side fitting, it should seal without a problem. If it continues to leak, look down inside the other fitting. If the other fitting doesn't have a nice cone taper, if it goes down and then a step and then like a pyramid, how it has a step to it, that means this thing has wedged itself and made its own seat at a different angle. And now you're trying to seal over that. So the other end needs to be replaced, but you're starting with all new stuff. So you should be good. And even if this thing is a little, off center, it'll center itself.